Here.
Commissioner Patrick.
Here.
Commissioner Coyle, present.
Okay, as you wish, please stand for the pledge of the occasion. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk.
Dear Lord, we come to you today grateful for all the things and gifts that you bestow on us. We ask comfort for those needing it. We ask healing for those that are hurting. We ask for hope for those that feel they're hopeless. And we ask today for wisdom for the decisions that are made here today. All these things we ask in your Son's name, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Only one item on the consent agenda, just the minutes of last meeting. Motion?
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. System slipped again, okay. Discussion of floodplain manager requirements. That pretty well spells it out. I will be nominated as the floodplain manager. I am not CFM. Adam Jones is, and he will be doing the bulk of this work. I will forward inquiries to him that I can't handle with basic map printing and such as that. And their charge will be $150 per hour for that work. For now, we will absorb this cost. That's all we've done. We may revisit this at another time. We will start a floodplain management expense line item and pay for these costs out of that. And there's no way to forecast the demand. Motion to accept. And this includes my appointment as floodplain manager.
Make that motion to appoint Earl as floodplain manager for all the manager requirements.
Second? I am an engineer, but I'm not certified for this. Yes.
Is there a maximum allowed chargeable amount in the contract?
No.
Is
Because
there detail of what is reimbursable and what is not in the contract?
the cost from Cochran Engineering is all that will be applied to that line item.
So no reimbursable expenses for travel, anything like that,
Yes,
mileage?
that is, yeah, and he's got a maximum of $50 on each account for that.
What about the mileage rate?
He charges on that, there's a 10-cent a mile surcharge, which is, if you've got a car with good mileage, that's almost equal to your gas cost.
So we're only reimbursing 10 cents a mile?
No, up to $50 for any travel or anything like that, any extra time, not time, but expenses.
So $50 just includes everything for mileage, food, anything like that?
That's what his contract said. Yeah, Rich?
Was our late friend Bob paid for his services?
No, he's volunteer and he loved it.
Thank you.
And that's why we don't have a line item now on this. Now, we did insist that he take reimbursement for any travel expenses, because we did send him to seminars and different things like that to get his certification. But, and we had to insist that he take that.
Thank you.
Yes.
To clarify, this expense line does exist for Bob for his travel reimbursement. There is a floodplain expense. It's just very minimal because, again, all we
Okay.
paid was
Well,
travel.
use that same title, that, I just threw this title up, but use whatever title you have for that line item.
Right, the expense already exists. It's just not budgeted to accommodate this contract.
Okay, well, we'll revisit that.
So what is the term of the contract as far as start date and end date?
Well, it's dated for 2024.
So it'll end 12/31 of 24?
Yes,
And then does it automatically renew, or will you have to revisit this annually?
we'll have to revisit it at that time,
And that's in the contract?
yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Are we gonna have a copy of that?
Yes,
Okay, I mean, because I'll have to have on file.
it's right here, I've got it.
Okay, the other thing I was gonna ask is I had a discussion with him, and I'm all for using them, but in this county, without zoning and stuff, what power does that, for example, if somebody's building something in a floodplain, do we have the power to stop it without enforcement capability, or do we just inform the bank that, or the loaning, or lender, or that person if they aren't taking the loan on the property that this is in a floodplain, or?
That, we will have a meeting with Adam Thursday, I believe afternoon, and to talk about that very thing. What are the ramifications of building in a floodplain? And like you say, they cannot get a flood NFIP, NFIP floodplain, which is the cheap flood insurance. And to get a mortgage, you have to have flood insurance. So, anyway, that's
So,
why we're
so we don't have enforcement, the fact that they couldn't get flooded.
We will look at that. Probably the proper notification of the floodplain bill. Okay. Any other questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. And now I have another title. Yeah, okay. Bid opening, very brief project, and Jeremy Manning from Smith and Company is here, and he will, take over at this point.
We have several. Like, see person fill out.
Can we say the names as they're open as far as
Yeah.
that bid?
Jeremy will let us know, and then we'll go down this tab sheet.
Okay, so, first on the list, we have Joe's Bridge and Grading. And they have all their addendums acknowledged. They have their bid bond as well.
After he's done here, that anybody interested will be able to come up and take pictures of their opposition's bid, since you should know what you bid.
Well, you're gonna read the numbers out.
Right. But I mean, if they wanna, they got a lot of details if they want to, so, as long as they don't take.
Or alternate.
Okay, they also have all their prerequisite documents. Okay, so total contract price for Joe's Bridge and Grading is $3,909,251.14. So $3,909,251.14. Next, we have Robertson Contractors. Robertson has their prerequisite documents. They also acknowledged all of the addendum. And they have their bid on it. Total contract price of $4,647,353.38. So $4,647,353.38. Okay, so third we have Millstone Weber. They have their prerequisite documents. their bid bond. And they acknowledged all the addendums. Total contract price of $4,274,124.90. So 4,274,124.90. Capital paving is next. They acknowledged all the addendums. They have all their prerequisite documents. They have their bid bond. Total contract price of $3,557,191.13. So 3,557,191.13. And Cosme Wagner is last.
What was the name again?
Cosme Wagner.
K-O-Z-E-N-Y.
And they have acknowledged all their addendums. They have their prerequisite documents as well. And they have their bid bond. Total contract price of $4,557,737.12. So 4,555,737.12.
737.
Yes, sir. Okay. Guys, thank you very much for bidding. Just like a normal state project, we'll have to submit all this to MoDOT because they are paying, it's part of the grant. But very good bid. Thank you.
Thank you all for saying. And if anybody needs, any of your contractors, bidders, need to see the forms, you can come and take pictures if you want at this time.
Hey, Chris.
Okay, does no one want to take pictures or anything? Okay.
And Greg, that's okay?
Jeremy, we finished?
Oh, we're finished.
All right, moving along to the next item. Bid opening for fleet data, and we'll have one bid for that. John, you want a couple of minutes on this?
If you don't mind, if you move on to the next thing, maybe take action towards the end of the meeting.
Any good?
Okay, we've got one bid here from Home Service Oil.
Sir?
And we'll take action at the end of the meeting.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the bidders, we appreciate it.
Safe going back.
Okay, John tells me that at the end of this meeting, we may be able to act on it too.
If possible, then.
I said may, yeah, okay. So, thank you for
Is
that.
that the only one, Kevin?
It's the only one.
Okay. Okay, annexation of 551 Bargo Road. This is probably already owned by the city of Farmington, and they just want to annex that into the city limits. John, do you have any, the road and bridge have no problem with it at
No
all?
problems, we've been maintaining it for quite some time, I think that is for the,
Airport expansion.
airport expansion.
I understand those buildings that's in the picture are either burned or,
They're
They,
gone.
they tore them down, and, yeah, they're gone.
that picture's several months old.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be hitting a ball. I'm not.
Okay.
right. This is the airport expansion. I had that thing bought from a lady in a state from Illinois. And when you have to say things publicly, one of our local residents, one of my workers came over and offered her $2,000 more for the whole lot and then built all the metal buildings so that the work would be there when he
Okay.
expanded the airport.
All right, motion to allow this annexation by the city of Farmington of this address. Please say, or motion, please.
I'll make a motion that we, allow the annex of 551 Bargo Road by the city of Farmington.
Second,
I'll second.
questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye. In the future, that'll be where the airports are landing, right?
Well, I hope it.
The airplanes will be coming right over.
I hope
that.
they're not, yeah, coming over, I hope they're not landing there.
Yeah, that road right there in front will be shut down, I believe that's.
Is that Corbin? No, it'd be Fargo, okay.
That's Fargo Road there.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You say Eaton Seniors?
Eating zingers.
Did I get a vote on that?
Oh,
All in favor of this, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Request to bid supplies for jury duty, for jury supplies. No one here to speak for it? Okay,
She's just asking, there's things that have to be set up and, for the juries, you know,
food,
that there's mainly, paper from what I understand, just thing, printing.
what they buy food from too. Okay.
But I think this is. Yeah, she just got included in this annual bid, so she just must be a little bit,
Okay, a motion to allow this bid, please say aye, or,
Make a motion, that we give the permission to bid supplies for jury supplies.
second,
I'll second that.
questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, emergency purchase of two BCM controller modules in annexing courthouse, has to do with the heating and cooling. You wanna talk about it?
Well, we've been having a problem with this. I think it's been the two controllers we have, they've been having a problem with them. They are old, and I know we have the new system, probably should have been with that, but this is what they have to do. They've been down. We're actually gonna have two controllers. One controls the courthouse and one controls the annex. And this is emergency, we had to have them, they've been having to reset them by hand when they go out. I think, didn't you say in your office you had a problem? Bridget, you guys did here. And they've been shutting off, so this is just to update the controllers for the future, and you know, something's gotta be done.
Motion,
I'll make a motion that we approve the emergency purchase to replace the BCM controllers for $23,459.
I'll second.
okay. Questions?
I got a
Rich?
question. What do the controllers control?
The air conditioning,
HVAC system.
cooling, they're programmable.
And it also ties in with all the fire extinguisher systems.
Yeah,
too.
the fire extinguisher, I mean, it controls 150,
Up to 150 different systems. And we, you know,
Not only HVAC, but fire protection and other things within the two structures.
right,
Yes.
right. And we had to update it, the ones we have are older, and they're working, but they keep kicking off, Rich. we have to update.
Thank you.
Well, I don't blame your, so I was here when we did a complete redo of our air conditioning and heating. And I don't remember them recommending anything about this.
Brian tried to get this done at that time, and
He
he was
did.
told repeatedly that it wasn't in the contract.
It is in the contract. Crystal Heating and Cooling
He
included
argued
that.
that point for you.
I've got a copy of it in our office.
Okay.
So what vendor is this with?
You know, I'm not really sure. He come in and told me he's calling this
Well,
week.
Well,
Hang on.
before it can be approved, we gotta know what the vendor is.
Is it team,
And do we know if other vendors were contacted?
It's TMI.
Were any other vendors contacted?
Amber, I think this is a sole source, the whole system. Remember when they were gonna actually, come in with the 2 units? And we had to go with TMI because, I forgot what other unit they had, they couldn't produce it after they had bid it. And we had to come back to TMI.
I would recommend you change your motion then, cause it's not an emergency if it's a sole source purchase.
But in that time that Brian was fighting to get this included in that contract, didn't he contact you for copies of that contract?
I provided it to him, and he said he gave it to all 3 of you, and he said nobody would enforce the contract.
I know that they went to Colin, among others. So, and the construction company vehemently said, no, it's not included. So there was a big argument there. Okay, the work has been done. So, motion to include this as sole source rather than purchase.
That would probably be best, because I think it's the only place we can get it. I will recommend that this sole source to change the emergency and go to a sole source with TMI for the purchase of
Let me
the.
just clarify, you are amending your motion, or
Amending
you're
it.
withdrawing your previous motion and making a motion to go with the sole source provider? Which would you like to do, because we got to reflect?
Well, I'll withdraw what I did before and go with the sole source with TMI for the purchase of the BCM controller.
So the new motion is to go with the sole source provider for TMI.
Right.
Okay.
Second?
Note it down.
for that now. I'll second that.
Question? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, next meeting, right here next week. Other business that may arise, correspondence. Public comment. Departmental reports. Yeah, Dan.
I just wanted to make an announcement that, a long-time police officer, Stan Rawson, passed away over the weekend, and, funeral will be.
Stan Rawson?
Stan Rawson. He was a Farmington police officer for years and years.
Well, city of, okay. Any other departmental reports? Yeah.
Nick Jones, IT Director. I'm gonna give a report on the Spillman data loss out of the jail for records management. We got confirmation yesterday that the database is not recoverable, and therefore the data that was recovered, we cannot read. So we are gonna have to start over from day one with either a new company or the company we got with now, which is Spillman. Talked to the sheriff. We talked about it, and we're gonna check and see what our options are on both avenues of either starting with a new company or going back to Spillman.
Okay, now, if we arrest Joe Blow and we need to find out his history, can we find that some way?
Yes.
How?
You can use mules through the highway patrol and a criminal background on them. If they've got a file already at the jail, then most of the information will be there too. But the biggest place to get is gonna be through the highway patrol, through the mules.
Okay.
Criminal history.
So the data is available, just not in our system. Okay, yes.
So, what does the company have to say that we paid almost $45,000 to?
It was 25, wasn't it?
We paid $3,500 before that.
So I'm gonna reach out to them today. They did say that they had 100% guarantee recovery. And I imagine, I don't know for sure until I talk to them, but they did recover information we just can't read. They can't recover the database because the database file is so old it can't be recreated.
So is the guarantee on the,
It's on the data recovery, which they've got the data, we can see it, we just can't access it.
I mean, if you can see it, you can't access it.
I can see file paths, but I can't, there's no way to access it.
Can't pull up that file.
Exactly.
Is there a reason, what? I mean, kinda explain that to me, Nick.
Of what
I
happened?
don't, yeah.
Okay. So the system was set up in what they call a RAID of 5. And there's 8 hard drives total on the server. 6 of them are always running, rewriting for storage. And what happens is one of those failed. When it fails, the 7th one picks up and starts writing. But when the 7th one picked up, it failed as well. You can't lose 2 drives in a RAID system. Once it
I
happens, it
remember you
locks it
told
up.
us that before.
And then, so that's why we sent it to the data recovery team, and they were able to recover, the data, but they can't recreate the database. The database is written in a form called C-Tree, and hardly anybody uses C-Tree anymore. There was a company in Colombia called Faircom, and they were working with Motorola Solutions. They did an early look at our data that we had, and they said there was no way that they were going to be able to rebuild the database. I checked out another company, and they said that for $15,000, they could do another data recovery, but they weren't able to guarantee that we'd get any different result than what we had now.
So we recovered it, we just cannot read,
Yeah.
and there's no way
So-
anybody.
The hard copies that we do have left, they can pull those files if they need to.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a workaround for now. It's not ideal by any means. It's a lot of paperwork, a lot of loose leaf, but it's working. We're able to look people in. We've got a running list, and we're able to continue on. We just need to figure out a way of either what company we're gonna go with or what we're gonna do to get the records management back in the jail sooner than later. The longer we wait, the more we have to obviously put into the new system. It's gonna-
Let me ask something like Spielman or whoever we go with in the future. The same thing, it don't matter who you're with, the same thing could happen.
It could, so we were in the process of changing out servers, moving to a new server system at the jail with Spillman. That system was set up to have a true redundant backup. If it would have failed on the new server, there's another server that's gonna pick up and start right where you left off, no data loss. You can fix the one that we had. The problem we ran into with the old server was the RAID setup that it was in. It was backing up to itself because what happened to us should not have happened. RAID 5 is one of the most readily used system for data redundancy and backup in a server of that type.
Now, I wanna ask another question. How long did we have the new server?
We had it in the building for about 2 weeks, but since it was contracted out through Motorola Solutions, we were waiting on them to come in, update it, and put it in the rack and start the data transfer. The server went down on the 9th, and on the 10th, we actually put the new server in the rack. We just can't do anything with it because there's no data to put into it. He was there on the 9th, updating the new server. He did not touch the old server at all, didn't get on the same network or anything with the old server. So there was nothing, it was just a mechanical failure in one of the hard drives that had all this happen.
How difficult would it be for me to go out and create this problem?
I would say it would be pretty hard if you, not knowing, you can't walk into the server room and figure out which one is the Spillman server. It's not labeled. You couldn't, you technically, I guess you could go in there and start plugging a bunch of wires if you wanted to, but you're gonna take down a lot more stuff as well. There's no way of knowing what is what unless you're in the IT, We obviously know where the Spillman server is and where the phone servers and stuff like that are, but they're not labeled for that reason.
So that knowledge is limited to IT?
Yes.
So if we go from here, Nick, and we already have a server from Spillman, correct? And we wanna switch over to, say, ITI Consensus, is ITI, right?
Mhm.
Okay. It used to be
Well, they were IT, now they're Omnigo.
Omnigo, okay, Omnigo, yes, I knew
And
there
that's
was
one
two.
of the available other
Yes.
companies.
Yes, and so, and I'm just throwing it out because that's all I wanna know. I know that a lot of people around here different municipalities use it, so it's one reason I bring that one up, not to dismiss the other one. So we move to something else. We've already paid how much for the,
So we
New
did,
server?
we did $131,000, I think, for the 2 servers and the first year of a managed contract with Motorola Solutions. And then at the end of 5 years, it was $350,000, I think, for them to manage the server. Motorola Solutions, I have to talk to them, no matter what we go with, they are not tied to Spillman, they're Spillman's preferred customer. But they should be able to manage any kind of system we put in, as long as whatever we go with can go on that type of server.
But whoever we go with is not gonna be able to recover.
No, that data is gone. I mean, we can keep throwing money at it, but in my opinion, it's not, we're not gonna get it back. I mean, we can keep throwing a whole lot of money for nothing. You know?
So about,
that would have been the money we spent already, so we
Yeah.
would have already had to have that. So you're saying the server can be whatever, hopefully, that we service
Yeah, the
or
new server
software.
could hold the new software.
Okay.
As long as everything.
That works out a little better.
There's a lot of boxes that need to be checked and a lot of conversations that need to be had. I mean, I can't sit here and say 100% that Motorola Solutions is gonna do that,
Yeah.
but I don't see why they couldn't. I mean, they're there to monitor and service the server, not the software.
Gotcha.
Well, I understand, I mean, I understand, like they said, 100%. Remember when, a week ago, too,
Oh, yeah.
100%. Now, they did, I have a hard time accepting they said that they'd give it 100%. They just didn't explain it to us.
Well, it's kind of like if I was going to sell you a car, I said, I'm going to save this car for $25,000. You give me $25,000, I'll give you a car, but I keep the keys. I did give you a car, I just didn't give you a way to start.
And they knew this at the time.
Well, yes and no. I mean, they assumed that they would be able to recover all the database files, and they did recover some database files. There's like 8 that can't be recovered. from what I
8
saw.
out of how many?
There's probably 50 or 60 different files from what I've seen. I don't know how much more is deeper into the dive, but from what I've seen, there's about 8 out of the 50 or 60 that they're not recoverable. They
Now,
can't get anything.
let me ask you this, the 50 or 60 though, you can see that.
No, you gotta have all of them to be able to access the database.
So it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
they recovered the data, you just can't see it.
We just can't see it.
I know what's in it, but you can't see it. I mean, that's just, but I guarantee I can recover it to myself.
Well, I just don't understand why they said, I understand what he said, they recovered it 100%, but they didn't tell us, you're not gonna see it after we recover.
You get screwed 100% too.
Yeah.
Was there any warranty on these servers?
No, that one was put in 2018. There was a Lenovo service contract that ends in June. So they did assist us with the start of the process. And Lenovo told us that, when I talked to them, that it was done. There was nothing we could do. There was no recovery, nothing possible. That's when we reached out to the Data Tech Labs, and they said that they have this problem more times than they're able to get data back. That's why we went with them.
Were these the oldest servers that failed?
Yes. And we were in the process of updating them. If the failure would have waited another week, we wouldn't be having this conversation, would have been on the servers and
Okay, any questions? Yeah, Dave.
I just want to let you know that we are, meeting as soon as tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock with ITI, and we're on this.
And there
We're
are
not gonna
several,
wait much longer.
and there are several of those companies available.
Yes, and we're gonna be contacting them, seeing what they can do.
So this may go out for bids.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any other questions or comments? Thank you, Nick. Okay, any other departmental reports? John, are you ready for action?
Yeah, I mean, usually we just order them, you can sign off on whoever, but we're gonna go with home service oil.
Okay, so, we need a motion on that.
It's an annual bid, it's a list
Okay.
for every
Oh, for an annual bid.
bulk
Okay.
fluid that we purchase.
So this item is for acceptance of the annual bid for the, what do you
Fleet
call it?
oil.
For fleet.
Fleet
Fleet
oil.
oil, thank you. And motion,
I'll make a motion that we accept the annual bid for home service, from Home Service Oil for the fleet oil for the road bridge.
Second.
question, Tim? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. No other departmental reports? Hey, a week from tomorrow is Terry's birthday, so we'll be out that day. Just a early notification on that.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.